Welcome to the BetterNest Real Estate Report for Hillsborough County, Florida. It's Monday, March 3rd, 2025. I'm going to go through some local statistics with you from our MLS and give you an idea of where the market's currently at and where we could be headed. So, this first group of statistics that we'll take a look at are the active days on market versus the list price median. And it goes back all the way to January 2020. So in January 2020, this would give us a good idea of what things were selling for pre-COVID. I don't think we found out about COVID until about the middle of February or so. So before that, it was taking about 29 days to get a contract on your house, and homes were selling for about $275,000, 277 in February. So 29 days in January and February, it goes down to 22 and 17 in April, which that's typical. Usually, how the cycle works in Florida is that uh, the busier part of the season is during the summertime. So you're going to see a lower amount of days on market in the summer for like June, July, August than you would in January, February, and March. Uh, and so this year, though, it's a little different. So it starts going down 29, 22, 17, and then it goes up 20, 22, which I think has something to do with the lockdowns, right? It was keeping people from going out and purchasing a house when they were wanting to purchase a house. Then it starts going down again, July 18, August 11, then September, when prices or days on market would normally be increasing. So normally everything goes kind of based on the school year. Parents don't want to purchase a house typically in the middle of a school year and break up the kids' school year. They want to do it in the during the summertime when they're off school. So usually we're busier in June, July, August, and then we start getting a little bit slower in September when school cuts back in. October, it's you got school going on still, and you got Halloween, then you got November with Thanksgiving, you got December with Christmas, New Year's, and so it just a lot of other stuff going on in people's lives other than trying to purchase a house. Then you get into the next season, the next year, and you start getting taxes back. And that's when it starts picking up again. So, end of February going into March, April will start picking up, and it gets busier and busier through the summer. So this year's different. This back in 2020, they had, 20, it starts going down, then it goes back up a little bit during the busy season. And all these people that couldn't buy right there, I think, are still wanting to buy a house, right? They're still chomping at the bit a little bit, and they come out in the time that you don't typically buy a house, and they're purchasing homes. And it becomes kind of a frenzy, right? Like, look how 29 days at the beginning of the year, down to 9 days, 20 days less in September. Like that's a frenzy. It's a buyer's frenzy. And so you go from 275,000 in January 2020 up to 310,000 by January 2021. So what a $35,000 increase, which is a lot at where we were in the market at that time. That was a big increase year over year. So then the frenzy continues into 2021. 7 days in January, 7, gets down into 4 days in April, May, June, July, August, all 4 days. Starts slowing down a little bit in September, like it normally does, but still only a day difference, 5 days, all the way through the end of the year. Like you don't see that very often, right? You haven't seen it since the last boom. And by the time you get to the next January, we're at basically $400,000. We've gone from 310 to 400, a $90,000 increase. That's insane. Then we go from we stay busy all the way through the busy season again, right? By the time we get back to the next school year, that's when you'll see it starts to slow down a little bit again. It gets back to 15 days. We're still selling at half the time we were back in January 2020, but the prices are still going way up. So from January to September, we've gone up another $20,000 or so. So now we start going up like we normally would. This is much more typical. You'll see the days on market go up. Uh, Prices come down a little bit during these months. Less buyers. Nobody's bidding on houses as much. Uh, but this last December they were, right? You don't see prices coming down here. So now we start getting back in the end of the end of the busy season 2022. The market starts settling down some, getting back to a more normal market. And so by the time we get into January of 2023, we're at 425,000. That was an increase of 25,000 over year. We're at 31 days on the market, right? It gets a little slow, it gets a little faster, a little less days on the market as we get into the busy season. Price is still going up considerably. We're going from 425 in January of 23 to 436. So it goes up 11,000 that year. Still goes up a little bit, nowhere near like the frenzy that we had. And we're at 20 days, 28 days, uh, and then February 34 days on the market, right? So right back to where we were pre-COVID when it comes to like about how long that things are staying on the market. But we've gone from 275, right, all the way up to 436. So I mean, it, an insane jump. Definitely a bubble, right? I mean, it's certainly a bubble. Like we had gone up. So the bottom of the market was like 2010, 2011. Since then, since 11, I mean, it had gone up every year. So, that's a decade to 2021. We'd already gone up for almost a decade, like an increase pretty much every year uh, for almost a decade by that point. And then all of a sudden, it jumps up 35,000 a year, 90,000 in a year. I mean, that's a bubble. That's what that is. There's no doubt about it. Anyways, we're at 436 in January 2024. It's taking about 28 days to sell. We got a contract. Stays, what, 19, 21, 18, 19. Very typical, right? Sells a little faster in the summer, sells a little slower in the winter. Prices are still going up. Here, goes down, starts going down. And so we haven't seen them go down in a long time, right? Up to April 2024, we hadn't seen prices drop like at all. I shouldn't say that right here. Oh, this is the breaks, right? Yeah. So that's the breaks. We got up to 450, 454, and then we start seeing it go down. June 23 comes back up in the busy time the next year to 450. So March 2024 to March 2023, 450, right? Stays flat year over year. We start seeing it go back to a normal market though, where it's following the cycle. Let's see. So we're at 436. We go up to 449. So I mean we're still going up, about what, 14,000. And then in February 2025, it says that it jumps, right? We're at 30, 31 days on the market, and it says that it jumps up 15,000. I mean, that's pretty good. Like we were at 450 back in May of 2024, jumps up in October. It's hovering at this 450 and then 465 in February. Like, strange market, but it seems to be staying flat to increasing a little bit. Now, the next one, the historic count of active listings. This is a little different story. And you got to think on this one. This is the list price, right? This is not the sold price. This is what they're asking for the house. It's not what they're selling the house for. So they're they're going up on what they're asking. So it appears that we're staying pretty flat on this, and then it jumps up right here. But then we also have to see what are they actually getting for the house too, right? Let's see. So now historic kind of active listings. If we go back to 2020, January 2020, we had 4,347 homes on the market. So this is like a typical normal year. And not just a typical, like it's been going up for like I say, like what, 9 years at this point. The market's been getting better and better. So that active number of listings has been going down for 9 years. I wish I would go back a little further to give us some stats on that, but this is as far back as it goes. So you can see the very next year, the drop, right? It goes from 4,300 to 1975. That's ridiculous. I mean, all those houses got bought up. 2,000 some houses got bought up, right? And then it drops again the next year down to 1,400, and the next year it's getting back up to about what it normally would be. It stays about flat the next year. This year, January, we're a little higher. We're a little higher than we were back in 2020. So, I mean, we're at least flat. Is that something to be concerned about? I don't know. We've jumped 1,000 active listings year over year. I mean, is that something to be concerned about? I don't know. We'll see. Let's go to the next one. This is the historic sales by year. Okay, so 2019, January 2019. This goes back another year. 1,088 sales in January 2019. 1,200 sales the next year. So this would be like pre-COVID. It went up 200 sales in a year, and then which is like I say, it's been going up. Like it was already going up. So I mean, that's a lot. It jumps up another 200 in 21. So I mean, it didn't jump up too much more year over year, I guess, than it did pre-COVID right there. Uh, then it goes down a little bit 2022, down more. So now it's a little bit less than it was in January 19 and 23. Last year, 886, way lower. 1,100, 1,400. By the end of the year, I wish it would go into January and February this year, but it obviously doesn't. Closest we can get is to look at November and December. 1,692 sales, 980. That's a big difference. 1725, 1239. But we do have more than last year. You could look at it that way too. So I mean, there's different ways to take a look at this, but you can definitely see that it's not quite as strong of a market as it was. That's for sure. Let's see, historic sales price trend. Okay, so this is the median sales price. This one goes all the way back to 2015. So 2015, we're at 165,000 in January and about 207,000 in June, which would be like our busiest month typically. So then it jumps up 30,000 from 15 to 16. It jumps up another about 16,000 from 16 to 17. Jumps up another 22,000 from 17 to 18. Then it only goes up 5,000 from 18 to 19. I remember this time. Like I was thinking, like, oh, we've been going up for 10 years. Like we got to be coming to we got to be getting kind of up there to where it's going to correct a little bit. And it slowed down that year, and then that happened. Then it jumped up another 20 grand to 257, right? And this is pre-COVID. I shouldn't say that happened. This is what happened. Ready for this? 257 to 295, 296, like 40 grand almost that jumped up year over year. Then it goes from January 296 to the next year 380. Like another 85,000? That's crazy. Like that's a huge jump, right? So then it goes up another 20 grand, another 12 grand, and year over year right here, this is pretty flat, you know. I mean, uh 2,500 or something. And this is the one that's kind of getting me here though. Is so February goes up 90,000, then it goes up 5 grand, then it goes up 25 grand, and then this year it went down. And so if you go back, how long has it been since it went down? Went up, 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 way up, way up, 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 and then on this one down. So is that something? Is that saying something? It's the first month in a long time that the median sale price has gone down year over year, according to our local MLS. Is that going to be, something that's going to? So basically, like, if you remember back on the last boom, so like '07, so they say the crash is '08 because it was, but like '07 was a strange year. Like it was, the prices crept up a little bit all year, but the amount of the inventory also went up, right? Like people weren't buying houses. They were still paying a lot for houses, but not as many people were buying houses. And so that it kind of seems like what we've been going through just recently. And then in '08, the market just didn't come back. Like I say, like every year, the market it gets busier when people start getting their taxes back, and then it gets busier through the summer, peaks in like June, starts slowing down a little bit more as you get up to September. It starts to slow down. Like kids are going to school and everything. They got other stuff going on. So in '08, it's normally going to start getting busier and busier come tax season, and it just didn't. Right? It just like what happened? It just all of a sudden nobody's buying a house. Like, is this a sign that it's going to go start going down now? I don't know. We'll find out, right? Let's see. Let's take a look at the next one. Okay, historic sales based on the price range. So this one shows like do cheaper homes sell more? Are we, how many homes are we selling per price range? So this would be the 100 would be 100,000, 150,000, 200,000. So this would be a million plus. You can see like 2023. I wish I would go back further, but there were 7 homes sold that were under 100,000, and last year 2. Uh, these aren't. I don't even know. I mean, these aren't going to be very complete stats. We're in March, so we'll just look at these two. Uh, but I mean, basically, the only thing to really see on this one is where we're at. Like there were between 200 and 250, 131 sales in 2023, and that's down to 85 in 2024. So I there's not a lot of houses. I mean, it just keeps going up and up. The majority of homes looks like sell somewhere between 300 and 500. These here you could expand and say 250 to 600, but so that's where the majority of homes. I would like to see if it would go back further. I would love to see how many $1 million homes sold pre-COVID. I guess I could try and look it up, um, but yeah, like I mean, definitely there $1 million homes were much rarer up until recently, and now it's like every house is $1 million house now. Let's see this one: list price versus square foot ratio. So I'm not sure where they're coming up with these numbers. Like these ones, 1,174 per square foot. I don't know. Let's do this one. Original price versus sold price. All right, this one will be cool. So this one will show like, when someone first comes on the market. So like on that first one we looked at, the list price median, right? There, you can list the house as high as you want to. It doesn't mean it's what it's going to sell for. Like we saw that it's doesn't look so bad on the list price side, but on the sale price side, it's actually gone down some. It went. I think it went up. Let's just take a look again. Yeah. So list price went up $15,000 January 2025 to February 2025. So list price goes up 15,000 and the sale price goes up 5,000, right? So I don't know. It's you can list for whatever you want. That doesn't mean you're going to get it. That just means they're going to drop more. So this shows, yeah, see, so February 470 and they dropped down to 420, 475, 430. So $5,000 more, $10,000 more. So they're dropping at a higher percentage right now than they were about a year ago. Then here's the sold price versus list price ratio. This one over here would be the original price versus the sold price. So it would show you like what did they originally list for, and then they do price drop, price drop, price drop, get a contract, and then they negotiate and they do another price drop from where they were at, the list price they were at when they got the contract to when they close. And so this one kind of shows you from the very beginning, including all the price drops they did. And this one shows you that last list price they were at, how much did they negotiate down from that last list price once they got the offer? And so in January 2020, they were going down about 1%, February 0.6, 0.5. By April in 2020, they're getting everything they're asking for. They got everything they asked for on average up until June of 2021 when they were getting a little bit higher. Stays at 100% by 22. This year they're getting over asking price during the busy months, and then by September of that year, remember, and that's where we saw it started to kind of hit the brakes. I think it goes down a little bit, but still getting 100.6. We're back up to where we're here, pretty close to there, lower than there. Yeah, so they're actually dropping more in 2023 than they were basically pre-COVID. Gets back up to 100 over the busy months. And then this year, 2024, I mean, a little bit worse. Not a ton worse, but a little bit worse. But yeah, so, where are we at right now? A little early in the season to know exactly how it's going to go. But, I mean, based on these stats, it is kind of strange to see it go down year over year, which we haven't seen in a while. So, could that be a sign of things to come? Possibly, to see it go down like that. But I mean, we can only wait and see. I mean, who knows? They could drop interest rates, and people could start, buying houses again. As of right now, it seems like everyone's just kind of waiting. Everyone's sitting around and waiting. The sellers are sitting around and waiting and not wanting to list right now, because if they list right now and they have to go buy another house, they're going to pay the higher interest rate, which they might have a low interest rate when they purchase their home. And so, they seem to be waiting a little bit to put their houses on the market. The buyers seem to be waiting to see if something better is going to come along. Everyone's just kind of sitting in a little bit of a limbo, but I mean, you see the market's it's holding. I mean, it's definitely holding. People still want to buy houses. Uh, we'll see what happens, but we'll have to just revisit this. All right, well, hopefully it helped some. If you're considering buying or selling a home in Hillsborough County, Florida, feel free to reach out to us at BetterNest Real Estate Group. Our number is 813 519 9437. Call today to set up a free consultation.